Hi, I'm Ciamrron with Transwest Truck Trailer RV in Frederick, Colorado. We're going to bring you a brand new 2025 Cimarron Norstar 4-horse living quarters. We're really excited to show you this trailer. We're going to walk you through it. This one here is actually going to be a 13.8 Pro line by Outlaw Conversions on this one with a slide out. But before I walk you through and show you everything on this trailer, let's go ahead and take a look at the drawing because I can show you a few specs on this trailer and how it's laid out. So like I mentioned, it's a 4-horse. This one has a folding rear tack room on it. Again, a 13.8 with a slide out. This trailer on the floor is just a shade over 31 foot. 31.3 is the floor length on it. It's 8 foot wide. We're 7'7" tall. This trailer is actually empty, gonna tip the scales at just over 13,000 pounds. So it's about 13,120, 13,140, one of those two right there. So again, very easy, to haul around trailer, not massive by any means, but when we get in the living quarters, we're gonna show you it's got a lot of space, a lot of nice amenities on it. So let's start walking through this trailer. On the Cimarron side, you're all aluminum construction. You're gonna have an 8-year structure warranty, 3-year hardware warranty, and 1 year no questions asked warranty under tires. And then when we look at it from the Outlaw, the Pro line by Outlaw, you're gonna have a 1 year warranty there on components, with a 3-year craftsmanship as far as the hardware goes. So really good combination of warranty on the trailer itself. A little background, we're the longest tenured Outlaw dealer. What's fantastic is they have a great warranty. They also have great customer service, 24/7, 365. You can call in. Obviously emergencies are going to try to help you out. If it's something that maybe get you through the night, they'll try to walk you through that and then help you get set up to get things addressed the next day. So but again, you can call in and talk to somebody. One of the important things anytime you're dealing with them, just a little piece of advice and a tip, is know the last of your VIN. Typically they want to see the last 6 of the VIN, year, make, and model. If you have that stuff readily available, you can call in. Usually they have that in their booklets, a lot of that information ready for you when you call in. But on the trailer side of things, let's take a look at this. We'll start here at the nose. We'll start at the top. First thing you're gonna notice is you got a couple marker lights up there. So we were constantly building, bigger LQs, trainer trailers, and we were putting those marker lights up there. They made it standard on the 25 models. I think it dresses the trailer up. The nose cap itself is that polished stainless sheet. So again, just gives it a sleek look to it. This is the wraparound style nose. So you have that, when we get to the side profile, you'll notice as it breaks in from the neck into the bottom rail, it's just a smooth transition, a good look to the trailer. Then what you're gonna get on your coupler is a B&W coupler rated for 25,000 pounds. You're probably familiar with B&W turnover balls. They teamed up with them a few years ago. We've gone through a couple different scenarios and setups as far as this coupler goes. This is the 3rd generation, but this one here really allows a lot of flexibility, whether it's one of these newer pickups that are a lot taller, maybe you're pulling it with a hauler, 450, 550, something along those lines. You have a lower profile handle, which allows for one more hole to be drilled. That way we have a lot of flexibility and adjustability with that coupler going up and down. Obviously, a hauler versus a pickup, we need that coupler to get up in there a little bit farther in that stem. So that allows us to move that up and down. And again, make sure this trailer's running, level, equal weight distribution, and then also bed clearance are what we're looking for. Now, if we look underneath here, again, 31 foot on the floor, but anytime we put a slide out on one of these guys, you're gonna get the dual electric over hydraulic jacks by EQ system. So what's fantastic about this is a couple things. One, it's a hydraulic jack, so it makes it so much easier getting on and off the truck. The other thing is they're individual switches as well. So these legs run off an individual switch. So for example, if you back underneath this trailer and maybe your gooseneck ball is just a shade off, maybe you just missed your spot just by a little bit, and you need to be able to, instead of pulling up, starting over again, you can actually manipulate it and tip one side of the trailer so you can kind of walk it on to the ball if you're just off a hair. Now, if you're off a long ways, you're gonna have to probably readjust, but it allows that flexibility. The other thing it does is it allows flexibility if you park kind of maybe in a dip where one side's higher than the other. to level this trailer out, we can manipulate it. If it's off of one switch, it's gonna want to push those legs down at the same time, and you don't have quite the ability to really level the trailer out, you know, nose to tail, or manipulate it side to side a little bit. But with that, you're also going to get the override. So it does have a manual override, so in case in emergency situations, you could pump it on or off the truck. Now, propane bottles, standard is 20 pounds. We like upgrading to 30 pounds on everything we have. We understand that you are going to be using this trailer, you're going to be using propane. Why not have a little bit more capacity as far as the tanks are concerned by upgrading for a very minimal, you know, change in price, going up to the 30s, or not having to replace those bottles near as much or fill them up. You have your spare obviously located just to the left of them that we're looking at, and then you're going to get your battery box. So in here we've got 2 house batteries. There's room for additional battery if you want, but pay attention to the detail in here, because a lot of these wires are actually already labeled. So again, if they have another service center working on a trailer, you know, they can tell them you're going to look for this color wire. It's going to say this on it. Here's what you're looking at. Here's what needs to be fixed, or here's what needs to be tested. You know, save a lot of time there. So very detailed as far as that's concerned. This little black box over here, that is a RedArc charger. Let's just call it a supercharger. Your truck would always work as a trickle charger to your batteries when it's hooked up, but that RedArc system there actually is a true 3-staging charging, you know, system itself. So it's actually going to charge these batteries up a lot quicker by having this RedArc in there, and also keeping these trailers topped off and maintained. So it's going to give a lot of life and longevity to the batteries themselves. The other thing is, when we're plugged into the truck, it will immediately tell us if we have power coming from the truck. We just went through a scenario just yesterday with a customer. They weren't quite sure they were getting, you know, their batteries were dead. They had air ride on their trailer, so they had another battery for that. And sure enough, when we plugged it into the truck, no power. So it ended up just being a blown fuse. So it was really easy to fix that, you know. Those type of things, you know, it's a safety measure, but also it's a really good indicator for us on if we're getting power from the actual tow vehicle or not. Right up here are those switches I was telling you about. So again, they're individual, so really easy to operate there. Underneath here, you're also going to get this tube underneath there. That is actually going to house your hose for your tanks. So when you're dumping your black and gray tanks, that hose can stay right up there. You saw in that battery box you have some room in there. I love to recommend to customers, whether it's just throwaway gloves, you know, or I actually personally like breeding gloves, because they're a lot longer sleeves. You throw a box of them up there, you empty your black tank first, then shift it over your gray tank, because then it'll flush everything out of your hose, and then you put it back up into this tube up here for storage when you're traveling, and then just throw away your gloves. So that's just a little tip, that you can throw that stuff in that battery box. You have a little bit of extra room there. So as we look at the nose profile here, there's a good look at that wraparound style. Again, a sleek look to it. We've extended the extrusion up to the nose on this. It makes that trailer a lot stouter as well, but I think it gives it a better look. And then a couple years ago, they changed to the frameless windows as standard. Again, a clean look to them. You know, again, it dresses the trailer up quite a bit by having those. This is white sheeting, so white is standard. If you wanted to go with a silver metallic, charcoal metallic, black, custom color, that can be done. There's upcharges there. This is mill finished extrusion, so it's kind of that, best way to explain it's that little bit more of a dull and traditional aluminum trailer look to the extrusion itself. There is a polished option out there, but a lot of these, the mill finish is a little bit more popular we're looking at there. Now, before we head into the living quarters, a couple things. You're gonna have an awning. That is a power awning, so we can push a button and out it'll come. It also has a strip of lights underneath it. We have exterior speakers on this guy here, so great entertainment out here. You've got a outlet here outside, so if you need to plug something in, you can. Grab handle has a light in it as well, and then you have a porch light. So again, as you sit out here, you've got great entertainment. Again, with that awning, It's definitely nice to have out here, get away from the sun. And then it also has that aluminum cover, so it'll protect it from UV rays. The sun is just brutal to lead up those awnings. A lot of times customers, like when we're looking at trades, we say, hey, we'd like to see the awning out. Awning's great, it's in great condition, but it's that first kind of, 8 to 12 inches of the awning that if it doesn't have that cover, it's typically always seen sun and it just eats it up. The rest of the awning's okay, but boy, right along that edge, well, you don't want that because you don't want it leaking through and dripping right here as you're trying to get in your LQ door. So that cover makes a big difference there. All right, before we go into the living quarters, this is an RVI certified unit here. So RVI certification, Outlaw is the last standing conversion company in the living quarters industry that still does this. It's a cost to every single unit, but this, by them having this, you can go into any public campgrounds, any national park, fairgrounds, anything. You meet all criteria to go plug in to their power. You meet all their certifications for plumbing, wiring, everything on it. So it's definitely a nice feature to have on this, and it also advocates for us when we're actually working in the transportation industry to be able to allow trailers like this, RVs, motorhomes, to continue to go down the road. So again, it advocates for us to go do those type of things. So it is important. Now, as we go into the living quarters door, first thing you're going to notice before we head in is this fold-up step. You need a step to get in these. It's 8 wide, so no running board, but hopping into these, it makes a big difference. When you make that step in, really breaks up that transition. And then again, we walk into this Pro line by Outlaw, a 13/8 with a slide out. So this is a really popular setup as far as this is concerned, because you probably noticed the very first thing is in the slide we have a dinette, and then you probably noticed the sofa on the drop wall. So you have 2 seating and 2 sleeping areas on this trailer. And again, 13/8, just a hair over 31 foot on the floor. This trailer is very easy to maneuver around, get in and out of places. But as you can see, if you want additional seating, sleeping, you've got it by this setup here. Our water tank is actually going to be located, our freshwater tank, underneath this sofa, but this guy here will fold down into a bed, and then in the slide out, the dinette, it'll break down into a bed. So that's where you have those seating and sleeping areas. The other thing is customers really like this to maybe sit at the couch, watch TV, and then have a designated place to maybe sit down, do some work, eat a meal, and then have that flexibility that if we need to break it down into a bed, we can. This is a Liftco electric slide, so that's why the sofa's on the drop wall, to allow for that water tank to go there. We don't do water tanks in these electric slides, the hydraulic slides. You can. But if we swap these and put the sofa here and the dinette over here, it actually ends up being a 2-person dinette, because we have to make it a little bit smaller to accommodate for the actual slide out. So we would have to go and make the trailer longer. So that's why we typically put the dinette there with the sofa on the drop wall. But again, that's what everybody wants. Additional seating, sleeping, whether you're entertaining, you got kids that are traveling with you, maybe you're going somewhere and have some friends that are coming with you, and you just need that additional place to sit and actually sleep. You've got it. Storage is a big key. So underneath these dinettes, you've got these cabinet doors that open. That is a great place, in my opinion, for linens. Whether it's like, hey, the sheets and the blankets and the pillows that we need to break down one of these beds, you can throw those type of items in there. You have additional storage above in there, so that overhead cabinet. The valances have the same accent material as the couch and the dinette on the top roll there, and then it blends in also with the accent piece on the slide. So it really ties everything together. Outlaw does such a good job coming up with these packages. The Pro line, that's what we have, is we have 3 set wood stains that we can go with, kind of a light, a medium, and then a dark. This one here is about that medium. Then from there we can pick the color packages. Again, we've got about 5 packages to pick from. If you want to make that leap up to an Outlaw, then from there you can do about anything. You can mix and match, whether it's wood stains, style of wood, to different couch material, to accent material, to whether it's even over here at the kitchen area. Again, a lot of flexibility when we get into an actual Outlaw. So over here at the kitchen, we've got a sink with a cover on it. Gives you a little bit more counter space if you're not utilizing it. Then you've got your 2-burner cooktop stove here that's recessed in there, but it does have the top, so again, you've got more counter space there. Microwave with a vent, additional storage. They try to maximize all the storage they can, but at times we have components we need. So like down here, here's our hot water heater. So it's gonna accompany a lot of this, but you still have some storage around it. You've got some drawers that you can store items in. And then we transition to the refrigerator and freezer. So this is definitely nice. Instead of maybe having that really small, as I call it, a dorm fridge, where maybe just the upper part's the freezer, here you actually have a separate refrigerator and freezer by Dometic. So it's got the auto, whether you're plugged into power or if you're running off a 12-volt power and propane. Again, that's where the bigger propane tanks come into play, and keeping those batteries charged to keep this guy nice and cool as you're actually traveling. Then you're gonna have a TV above the refrigerator there. It's on a good angle, so you can sit there at the dinette, at the sofa, and really have a good look at that guy there. Then as we step into the bathroom, you've got your pocket door. So this guy here, by having a pocket door, we don't have a door that swings that we have to work around. You know, you have to watch those doors with slide outs, so it's shut and it doesn't catch something and damage something. But also if you're in here and trying to maneuver around, well, that slide out helps open this area up, but now again, we don't have a door we have to work around. So as we transition into the bathroom, I'll just step into the pass-through door, which is fantastic because you can also use this first stall area as maybe a mudroom. I can hop in through the escape door that I'll show you in a little bit, kick off dirty boots, step right in here to the bathroom, which you're gonna have a bathroom vanity, plenty of counter space, big medicine cabinet with shelves in there, so a ton of storage there. You're gonna have your radius shower with the skylight. So that skylight helps with natural lighting, but if you're a little bit taller too, it gives you a little bit more headroom. You know, this is a 7'7" tall trailer, but like anything, we've got to make everything fit. So the radius really helps just from the standpoint of having a little bit more elbow room in there, but then again, getting that natural light from there. We've got a power vent in here as well. You have your mirror, your toilet, and then we've got a 2-rod closet back here. We've actually got the additional cushion in here when we break that dinette down into a bed, just set in there for right now. But again, you've got plenty of closet space there. And again, just a good amount of room in this bathroom to really maneuver around. But having the pass-through door is definitely a nice feature there. So up in the gooseneck area, obviously we have mattress up there, but you have additional storage up ahead. You've got an outlet over on driver's side. We've got some light switches over there. And then we'll have additional cabinetry over here on driver's side that then ties into, you know, sound system as far as AM, FM radio, CD player, you know, you plug auxiliary into it. So again, you've got speakers kind of throughout. The other thing that you're going to notice is our air conditioner is located right here in the center, but you might have noticed that we have kind of these circles up here on the ceiling as well. Well, that is actually ducted. So we can actually really keep this entire trailer really comfortable and at a consistent temperature as well because of this ducting in here. So for example, if I, you know, maybe go to sleep and maybe don't necessarily need to keep the bathroom as cold, you can shut those vents up, force more air in here. Again, you can cycle air throughout the entire cabin and really keep it, again, a more consistent temperature. A lot of manufacturers, especially on the conversion side, some of them literally might have just the air conditioning coming from right here. Well, maybe it'll blow up there a little bit, but how do you get it into the bathroom? It gets a little bit more difficult. But I give, you know, Outlaw a ton of credit by having that ducting in here to really, again, keep everything nice and comfortable. We've got a couple hat racks right above the door. Over here as we go out, a couple things. We've got our switches for our awnings, our slide, generator. So we've actually got the generator running right now. It's an Onan 4000 gas, but that'll power everything in this unit. So if you don't necessarily get somewhere where you can plug in, you can fire that guy up and actually just go ahead and run your microwave, you know, run the air conditioning, run all your lights, TVs, cook in here, whatever you need to. So it's definitely nice there. You also will have a sliding screen door that's on the magnet. So again, we can open this door up, but go ahead and shut that guy up, maybe get that fresh air in there. And again, fold up step is so easy to operate. Just fold up and down on it. There's always some items that we look at and want to add to trailers in a lot of our inventory, and this is one of them. This is a really small upgrade. It's an amber turn signal. And what that is, like I mentioned, we're 31 foot on the floor. Well, that amber turn signal will indicate when we have our blinkers on, our brakes, and it also works as a big marker light for you when you're looking down the side of this 8-wide trailer. But, you know, think about it. People don't pay attention to trailers, so if they're just passing back into this trailer, don't necessarily see your back turn signals, maybe they don't quite see your truck turn signals, you know, maybe they'll notice this guy here in the middle that you're trying to get over. It's just, again, a small feature that we like to put on a few of our trailers, typically 8-wide and a little bit longer. Up on top, that guy there is going to be a 9-foot sheeted hay rack up there, so a nice big hay rack. We've got a couple 16-inch awning lights as well, and then the button lights for marker lights. But those awning lights, we wanted a couple to really give you a lot of coverage out here. With it being a 4-horse, one kind of split stalls 2 and 3, and then one ahead of it. So again, you're not going to be upset about having too many lights on a trailer, especially when you're doing stuff at night. So those guys shoot down and out. And then behind that hay rack up there is going to be our generator. So as you can see, it's got a box up there all to itself. It's actually running, so those Onans are so quiet. It's been running during this entire video itself. But that houses that. I'll show you where the fuel goes here in a minute. And then as we get into the horse areas, you can see we got drop down windows on tail side here. So again, if you need a lot of airflow, if you live in those really hot, humid states, you want to maximize airflow, you've got it with this guy. You can drop all these guys. They also have the bus window built into them. So if you need to shut them up and maybe kind of minimize a little bit more airflow, you can by actually utilizing those. Pay attention to those drop windows because everything you see around the window itself is framework. So these guys are built so strong and stout. These are items that aren't prefab windows where they're really lightweight. You don't want to leave them down. A horse bumps them, can break them. These guys, again, are something you're going to use every time you use this trailer more than likely. So we want them to hold up, and they're really high quality product there that Cimarron builds. We have 2 8,000-pound Dexter rubber torsion axles. This guy is equipped with the 17.5-inch wheels and a Cooper heavy 18-ply tire. You have a 1-year, no questions asked warranty on these tires. That's through Lion's Head. That's the vendor that Cimarron uses for their wheels and tires. So if something happens, we can work you through that warranty process. You're not going to go through Cimarron. You're going to go through Lion's Head. But don't just discard the tire. We need some information off it. We need to see the damage. We need some codes, so you need to just take a bunch of pictures for us, and then we can help you out with that. But it is a no questions asked warranty from the date you purchase the trailer. Electric brakes on this, so you'll have to have the integrated brake controller or an aftermarket on your tow vehicle. We can help you out with that if you need that aftermarket version through our parts and service department. We can get that set up for you as far as that's concerned. All right, as we get to the back, we're gonna have dual 50/50 doors, and that's because this trailer is 8 foot wide. Our narrower trailer is the standard 610. That's where you see a lot of 60/40, but we like this 50/50, especially on an 8 wide. Why not? gives you a little bit more tack area, and also a nice big opening getting into the stall area itself. So we'll start at the tack. As you can see, left-hand door, we've got some bridle hooks, some rubber behind that, and then a brush tray down below. If you want to add another brush tray, you can. A door organizer. There's always things that we can do after these trailers, to these trailers after the fact. Then in this folding rear tack setup, we've got our removable posts, so that post does pull out if we need it to. 4 saddle racks, couple blanket poles. These are all adjustable as well. If you want to move them up and down, change sequencing, take something out, add something to it, you just loosen the nuts, slide them where you want, and retighten them. You have a light back here. So again, plenty of light coverage. Again, if you wanted to remove this, you can, and then this wall actually unpins, folds into itself, and locks over against the wall. So it does fold down and get out of the way if we want. If your horse prefers a rear ramp load, and this one doesn't, we can add a rear ramp. We can do a ramp over, remove the rubber bumper, it welds there, and then folds up over these back doors. The other thing is these doors are independent. So one can be opened ahead of the other. So maybe you just need to hop into your tack area and you have your stall. Sometimes some manufacturers have overlapping to where I have to open this door up to get to this door open. Not here, they're independent, so you have a lot of flexibility there. In the stall area, padded dividers. You're also going to notice airflow. So those jail bar style dividers and head grills on the mangers. So like I said, you live in those hot, humid states, you need airflow with the drops. You have drops head and tail side, but these airflow dividers really help with that as well. It is easier for us to go from these to more of a solid by adding, you know, a piece of aluminum sheeting and making sure it's secure. If you need to separate some horses, it's easier going that route than going from a solid divider and solid head grills to airflows. We have to build everything, rebuild everything. So again, a lot simpler process if we go that way. Stud divider at stall 1, so we can use this again, maybe extra storage. We don't have to worry about items getting underneath horses as we're traveling. Maybe you need to separate somebody. You've got this, it's definitely a nice feature. You saw how easy it was to shut this guy. That's because of these recessed paddle latches in the wall. Again, recessed in, rounded edges. This is a cast aluminum piece here that's been powder coated. Heavy UHMW plastic paddle latch itself, so we don't have metal to metal contact, so it doesn't rattle and clank and bang. One-handed operation. Cimarron really puts a lot of emphasis on that, and I give them a lot of credit for it. You're leading a horse, you need to open a divider. You're leading a horse, you need to shut a divider. One-handed operation. So again, it's that smooth and simple. You're going to notice the springs are pulling everything towards the driver's side. So again, maybe not necessarily having to open and hold these dividers open when we're loading and unloading. They want to naturally pull over to that side. Up in the first stall, we have mangers, except in stall 1, we've got the escape door. So we went ahead and did a triangle feed bag for you, and then you're also going to have a chest bar there as well. A couple hooks per stall. Whether it's tying horses up, you need to hang some hay bags, whatever you need to there, you've got a lot of flexibility. More airflow in here, 2-way roof vent, so we have 1 above each horse, so you have a total of 4. Then you top that off with the insulated roof that is standard on every single Cimarron. Couple things, it's really strong. It'll take 150 pounds per square foot, so it'll take substantial hail as well. But also, it keeps the stall area about 20% cooler than aluminum sheeted roofs. So it's more hail resistant aluminum sheeted roofs and cooler, so why not? It is on every single Cimarron. It will keep your horses so much cooler. Come to the lot when it's 95 degrees on this asphalt on a hot day. We'll walk you through trailers and we'll show you other manufacturers and Cimarrons, and you will physically tell a difference in the stall area temperature just based on that. A couple of those OptiBrite lights, you saw one in the back tack, you're gonna have some in here. These are on switches at the back of the trailer. I can turn on those load lights, I can turn on stall, rear, other side, you know, driver's side. They're all on individual switches, but again, plenty of light in here. And then when we flip to the floor, this guy's got rubber mats. But underneath that is the industry's best floor. They're 4-inch centers. So centers are those I-beams that run across the trailer the full length. Not only do they have that, but it's a 12-inch deck piece that's extruded that locks in high and low like tongue and groove, so you don't have as much movement in the deck pieces. If it's one, it has the ability to flex. If you have two, it's a lot more rigid. So those 4-inch centers with that V-truss that Cimarron has, which is the industry's best flooring out there, just picture hoof size of a horse, and wherever they stand on this floor, they're standing on a support beam. If you want to tell quality build of a trailer, start with the floor. It's like a foundation of a house. You got to start off nice and strong, and nobody does it better than Cimarron. Want you to pay attention to this back stall is just a hair bigger, and the reason why is we want to keep this divider as solid, but yet we want it to get over and to be able to shut the rear doors if we need to. So if that wasn't the case, this would have to be a telescoping divider, or you're going to run into the issue where it's off the wall a little bit and it gets, you know, this opening a little bit more narrow. On the rear, you're gonna have a couple 8-inch awning lights up top. So just like those ones you saw on the side. So again, you have load lights here at the back. And then pay attention to the rear marker lights on this guy, because this one here, if you notice these white X's, they're lit up right now because on the box up there, I've got them on. Those are backup lights. So anytime you throw your truck in reverse, you know, again, 31 foot on the floor, truck's a long ways away, just like that amber turn signal. You know, they're not, your backup lights aren't going to do much on your truck when you're backing in at home in the dark or unfamiliar places. These guys here have that built in, so when you put it in reverse, those guys come on. We were putting backup lights on a lot of our inventory, kind of like those amber turn signals. Shortly after the 25 models came out, Cimarron came out with those built in and made it a standard option there. So as you can see, we have our generator up top. We talked about it. There's also a deck, so you can stand up there, work on your generator, throw hay up there, load hay bags, whatever you need to. But getting up there, you have your ladder. Now, a lot of times you'll see bolt-on ladders. Well, bolt-on ladders, you're going straight up the trailer, and it's really hard to do that when you're carrying bags or buckets, whatever you have to, going straight up the side. Cimarron came up with the easy angle ladder. So now it basically is like taking a ladder and leaning it up against the wall. You can actually carry items and walk up the actual ladder. If your trailer doesn't have these, it can be added. So again, parts and service department could help you out there, but that is the only style ladder we put on our inventory, just because of how well it's received and how well people love it, and that's what they want. And again, it's so much easier to operate. So we have to get fuel to our onboard generator. Here's our fill. So you can fuel your truck up, pull up to the pump, and actually top this guy off. So again, Onan 4000 gas gen, so we can fuel up on the same side. I'll get this guy out of the way to show you in this back manger. Right here's our fuel cell. So it's in this back manger here for you. You have the manger storage. You've got some lights in here as well. These here you'll have to manually turn on. They're not on a switch. Keep an eye on these guys. If you bump them with a bucket, they'll turn on and potentially drain down your battery. So just check those guys out. But having some extra storage is definitely nice. We've got 3 manger doors for storage. But then same thing. These are the same drop-down style doors that you saw on the tail side of this. But on this side, they've got the jail bar. There's a track already built on the inside there, so these guys easily drop. So if you need to change out, hay bags, something along those lines, you can. Offer them water at a stop, drop it right in there. And again, solid seal when you go to shut them. Again, these are big framed windows and drop down feed doors. With that, you need a heavy duty hinge. So welded hinges, but these, Cimarron took it a step further than a lot of the competition that just has welded hinges. These are welded hinges with greasers. You see this brass rod here, right, splitting those two. Well, that rod runs the full length here. and it's got a groove cut into it. Picture a candy cane, the stripes of it, that's the groove, so it swirls around there. So when you put grease to this and open and close it, it feeds grease throughout the hinge. So they're a lot easier to maintain than just your welded hinge style. You got to heat those guys up to get lubricant into them, and they start getting stiff or squeaky. I've seen countless times where maybe on their hinges they've actually drilled holes in the top part to try to feed lubricant in from the top and let it go down. Kind of just, naturally let gravity take over. So again, these are a lot easier to maintain. The escape door. So again, going into that first stall, like I said, it's got the chest bar across there, but again, maybe you're going to use this as a mud room, something along those lines. You've got that capability by having this access door into the stall area. And then a fold-up step. Again, no running board, but we wanted it to be an easy transition for you, so it folds up. Butterfly style paddle latch, it goes over this door because we don't want a horse playing with that latch, open it up as we're going down the road. So if you are wanting to use it as a mudroom going in and out, you just have to keep that guy out of the way, and then you can just utilize your actual door latch. Everything is keyed alike. So the LQ door, this access door, rear tack, rear stall, mangers, feed doors, everything has one key. So really easy to operate there. You're also gonna have a drop window in the escape door, a little bit smaller because we have the door and the framework for the door, so it narrows it a little bit, but you still have that capability to open and close that itself. Right back here, we got a couple things. So sewage holding tank, that's your black tank, gray tank. So again, empty your black first, transition over to your gray, it'll flush your hose out. City water fills right here, and then our 30 amp breaker, or our 30 amp cord will actually plug right there into that. Here's a good look at the slide out. And then ahead of it, because remember our fresh water tank is below the couch, here's our fill for that. You also have a spigot on the outside here, so maybe you need to rinse off your hands, fill up a bucket, fill up dog's water dish, whatever you need to. It's nice to have some water accessible here from the outside. So again, Cimarron 4-horse with a Pro line and slide out. I'm going to give you the stock number for you for reference. Again, it's a 2025 Cimarron Norstar 4-horse. It has that 13.8 with slide Pro line by Outlaw. Stock number is 5N240988. We do take trade-ins, so if you're looking to upgrade or downsize, we can help you out there. We have financing available and delivery as an option. So we could potentially bring this straight to your doorstep. So give us a call. Anybody on the sales team can help you out. That number is 303-684-3400. Appreciate you tuning in. Have a good day.